Well, there you go guys, it's high tide all the way across the beach there. Look at that, it's right full up to the top, and we're going to come back here at low water and we'll be right out there somewhere, and we'll see what creepy crawlies we can find in amongst the rocks. Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back on Longy Beach today on Mark's Aquatics. We're right, I showed you it just before there where the tide was right up. Now the tide is already on neap tides at the moment, so it's not going down too far, but we've got lots of stuff to explore. We've got some of this awesome bladder rack and different types of weed down here. It's a little bit windy today, so I apologise for any buffeting and things you may hear, but we've got lots and lots of very flat rocks here, which are going to be an abundance of life under these, I can tell you now. Here's a nice one here. So what I'm going to have to do is slowly lift these up and show you as we lift them up and see what we got. Well, we got some movement under there. I can see a little green crab burrowing away, another little one there. I wonder what else you guys are seeing that I can't see. Little sand fleas as well, all hopping about, but that one was quite deep into the sand, so there wasn't a great deal under there. But if I can just hold that up again, I'm not sure where that little crab went. He's hiding somewhere. Oh, he's not so little. Look at that. There he is. Let's get that sand off of you so people can see. Very strong little guys, green crabs. Just give him a little shake in the water. Just grab hold of his back legs there a minute. Oh, there's another one, just ran off. Oh, he's off. Right, where'd he go? There he is. Look at that little guy. Itching to get hold of my finger. Beautiful oranges. Just like the one we had in the workshop that you saw molt out that time. Look at that, fantastic. I'll put him under the weed, just up to the side here. And cover him up so we don't squash him when we put the rock back down. Which is an important thing to do, okay? When you move rocks, always let them down very carefully. Don't smack them on the... otherwise you're going to shock anything which is under them. This looks like quite a nice little rock too. Now that one has been turned over by somebody and not put back. It's been turned over and left. That's why there's nothing under there. A few little sea fleas. We'll put that one back and we'll move on to one. Now a good idea is to put them in, to look for places where there's a little bit of water underneath, and you might get some fish in there as well. This looks like a good one. Whoa. Okay, we got a few fish in here. A couple of little blennies and a gobi as well. Look at that. I'm going to have to be careful here because she's gone underneath the back of the stone. But if you look there, there's a little gobi there, right in the picture. And what I'll do is I'll just pause you a minute and I'll get that little gobi out, that little blenny, sorry, who's just in the back there, and you can have a look at her as well. Okay guys, I managed to get the gobi so you can have a quick look at that little guy. Super cute little fish, just like the ones we got back home. Look at that. Let's put him back in the water. There he is, and there he goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully put this rock back down now. And the blenny might be at the back. In fact, I can see her right there. So I'm going to go careful now. And she might stay under the weed. And we might get to catch her. But these things will give you a nice little net as well. Where are you gone? Here you are. There you go. Let's get you in the sun. Look at that. Just like Aunt Blenny we got back in the house. Beautiful little fish, but they can't give you a nip, kids, so when you pick these guys up, make sure you're careful, okay? And now that rock's back down, I can put her carefully back into where she came from. There she is, hiding now, look. Now it's just decided to come out the rock and go this side. They're quite active on land as well. They'll work their way around. There she is, hiding under the rock there. And as long as their gills stay wet, they'll be okay out the water for a good 6 hours in a tide going down and coming back up. So very good at surviving out in low tidal areas. The gobies can't do that as well. They can They can withstand being out of the water for a little bit of time, but they need a little bit more depth of water. Well, there you go guys, there's 3 little hermit crabs there. You can just see his little legs inside the shell, and if I put them in a pool you'll soon see them get up and start wandering off. Let's put them in here and see if they'll go running off for us. They normally wait. There's the little bubbles, and there they go. Look at that little diddy one there, he's off. Lovely stuff. The other ones are a bit quieter at the moment. We've got lots of anemones here as well, little brown beetle anemones. Oh, and I've just seen a beautiful little anemone. Look at that little guy there. It's like the dahlia anemones we get. I'm not sure the species of that one, but look at that. And I bet if it was night time and I had my UV light, that would glow amazingly under UV light. That's a lovely little find. Not seen many of those here before. Quite hard to see, quite camouflaged. The rest of the gang are waking up and they're going to run off in a minute. Here he goes. Right, let's put all these guys back to bed under their stone. Tide's still ebbing away. All the weeds slowly getting uncovered. And you got some nice little swells coming in there as well. Look at that. A bit stirred up today. We've got a northeasterly wind blowing, so it's like I say, a little bit noisy. Apologise if it's a bit windy. Lots of lugworm traces around it here as well on the rocks and on the sand. Some huge ones up further up the beach, but this is what they are. These little tiny swirls that you see in the sand like that. Look, they come up, and that's basically the worm will eat and ingest the sand, passes it through its body, takes all the goodness and nutrients out of it, and then squirts it back out again. Look at that. There are lots and lots of them on the beach here. Look, these are very small ones. I'll show you some bigger ones when we go up the beach. Some of them are quite big. Oh, okay guys, just lifted up this rock. Some lovely beetle anemones under here. Some nice green lettuce weed. And if you look down here, there's another little blenny. Look at that. Here he is. He or she, acting dead, thinking I can't see her. They're super camouflaged. But if I just let this rock go over slowly, and we can just touch her. Hey, there she goes. Hopping away, wriggling in the weed. Oh no, she's back out again. Super bright out here today guys, it's quite hard to see where she is, but look at her. Beautiful little fish. All knowing. Go on and get back into the seaweed. Let's cover you up so the seagulls don't find you. Ah, there you go guys, there's a pretty cool find. Little tiny crab inside a limpet shell. Look at that. Oh, there he goes. He just shot out and ran off. Let's see if we can find him. Here he is. Little tiny guy. Fantastic stuff. Let's put you back. This beach is absolutely covered in bladderwrack. Look at that. Some absolutely stunning colours, from light beiges, dark browns. Razorback as well. There's all different types here. Hundreds of limpets and winkles. They were saying during the World War II you couldn't find many limpets or any shellfish along the beach, along the shoreline, as most of it had been eaten by the prisoners of war and people on the island foraging for food and eating what they could during those rough times. And you can imagine it was a pretty big larder down here for people to find things on every tide coming up and down. Big spring tides, they could find lobsters and bigger crabs, things of that nature, and obviously a ready supply of fish as well would have been bought in and caught along the shoreline. Wow, just turned over this rock guys, look at the orange of that crab. It's been a little bit in the wars, this little male. He's had a lot of his legs taken off and one of his claws taken off, but as you know, when they shed, those legs will grow back given time. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Let's put you back under the seaweed. You can imagine what this is like on the high tide when all this weed is standing upright in the water. It's a right little underwater forest, and I used to love snorkeling along here when I was a kid. I used to come out here and fish and spearfish and all that sort of stuff. but not anymore. I should do it, keep you fit, that's for sure, but it's a right little forest, it really is. So I'll put this little guy back. I'm not going to put him under the rock, I'll put him here in the weed and let him crawl down in amongst that seaweed. Go on in, let me help you on your way. I'll cover you up with some seaweed. There you go. Right, what else have we got in this pool? This is quite an interesting little pool because we're in amongst a lot of solid rock, and there's only two little pools here, and the rest of it's actually all this is solid bedrock. Oh, look at that, there's two beautiful little cushion stars. Look at that. Yeah, they're pretty little guys, aren't they? Little cushion stars. Always nice for them little guys to show an appearance. We'll put those guys back on the rock there next to each other so they can have a chat, and then we'll get in amongst this and we'll lift this up. I'm sure there might be a fish of some description in here somewhere. We shall have to see. I'll move things slowly and we might get a splash in a minute and see something. Nothing as yet. They normally go along the creases here, and you put your fingers down, you'll feel them. A lot of this weed's been broken off as well in the rougher tides, pulled off. Let's see what's under this stone here. I'll just fold that one back. The thing is with blennies, and when you get them, they'll run off, as you saw, they'll wriggle off through the weed. There's another little crab right there, look, hiding. We won't disturb him, and an even smaller one right in there. Look at that. I'm just going to see it. I'm working one-handed at the moment. I left my tripod at home, so I'm just going to pause you a sec and I'll see if I can find you something to look at. Well guys, the only other thing that was in that rock pool was this little tiny baby edible crab. Look at that. Absolutely tiny. Little tiny male. Stunning little guys they are. Alright, let's get you back. Here you go guys, there's another little goby. Trying to get him up here. Lovely little camouflaged little guy, this one. Look at that. His little dorsal fin up, absolutely beautiful. Let's put you back in your little pool. There he is, look at that. Super camouflage, and away he goes. Nothing else in there apart from a couple of little crabs. There's one, look. Just see their little feelers sticking out of the water where they're breathing through. Super camouflage, aren't they? Oh, there you go guys, a nice little edible crab in here as well. Look at that, just hiding under there. Just pick him up. Oh, no claws on this one. Look at that. No claws at all. All the legs are there. It's hard, so it's probably due a shed soon. If you look very closely there, you can see the way these little tiny seals appear where they snap the claws off, or if a fish grabs a claw they can actually release those, like they do in Florida and places like that with the stone crab, where they take the claws off the crabs and they let the crabs go, they just keep the claws, which I think is not very nice. But look at that, can't bite you, no claws, beautiful shell. And like I showed you in my other videos, you can soon tell when they're going to molt, because you'll see that start to split along here. And if you remember, if you did watch my crab molting video under speedy time lapse, you'll see it actually climb out the back of his shell that way, pull his legs out, and then go and hide somewhere and harden up for a while, and they leave a perfect shell. That's why you see a lot of the shells on the beach. But the crabs have left the building. There's no more in there. They just got their exoskeleton and they just throw it off. So you can go back in your little hidey hole there, my little friend. And I'll put your rock in front of you. Where's the rock? Here it is. It's like a big trap door, this one. Actually, the rock was just here like that, but the seaweed had covered him, so I'll just put the seaweed back in the hole. There you go. There you go, another little blenny under this big rock down here. I just lifted over. It's quite a big one there, some lovely little beetle anemones. Let's put you back in your little pool. My goodness. We got a right little gang of crabs hiding under there. They're all off. Look at that lot. Oh, there's a bunch of little crazy little worms down there, all different kinds of little mason worms and things which have just turned up under this rock. Some right little colours amongst them. I'll leave it uncovered and they'll soon scoot off down their little burrows. If I try and replace it, I'll only hurt them, so I'll leave them alone. See if I can find you some other little worms while we're here. This little worm's called a ragworm. They get quite a bit bigger than this, but they got right little teeth on them as well. I'm not sure if you'll perform for us, but you see the little teeth will come out. Normally they'll do it when they're a little bit bigger, but be hard to see, I think, on this small one. Look at that, like a little snake. Well, that definitely has to be the smallest crab I've seen in a while. That is absolutely minute. Look at that little guy. Little bit of swell making up now. I feel some music coming on. guys, I've had a fab little hour or so down here on the beach with you, showing you a few things. Hope you enjoyed that little video. If you do, hit that like and subscribe button, and I sure would love to have you guys aboard for future videos. And as always, you're all stars. Take care of yourselves. Love you loads. I'll see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.